They say success is about luck, about being in the right place at the right time. But what if I told you that success isn't luck, it's math? That if you simply show up long enough, success becomes inevitable. Because in the end, the world doesn't reward talent. It rewards consistency. Stay till the end, because when this video ends, you'll know exactly how to make success inevitable. No matter where you start, how late you begin, or how many times you've failed before. And before we're done, you'll hear the one mindset shift that turned ordinary people like Kobe Bryant, Ronaldo, and David Goggins into forces of nature. Imagine this. A teenager wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning, shooting 1,000 free throws before school. A writer sits alone in his room every single day, typing one page, even when no one's reading. A comedian marks a red X on a calendar every day he writes a single joke and refuses to break the chain. A man runs until his legs bleed, not because he loves it, but because quitting would kill his soul. What do they all have in common? Consistency. The boring, unglamorous, invisible work that nobody claps for. Let's meet them. Lesson 1. The Mamba Mentality. Kobe Bryant. Kobe once said, "I never got bored with the basics." When others were sleeping, he was already drenched in sweat. When teammates showed up at 10 a.m., Kobe had already done 2 workouts. He wasn't chasing perfection, he was chasing progress. One day, a teammate asked Kobe, "Why do you work so hard, Kobe? You're already one of the best." He smiled and said, "Because being the best today doesn't guarantee I'll be the best tomorrow." Here's the truth. Consistency beats motivation every time. Motivation is a spark. Consistency is the fire that never goes out. And here's something Kobe did every single day that made him unstoppable. We'll come back to that soon. Open loop number 1 continues. Lesson 2. Cristiano Ronaldo, the relentless machine. When Ronaldo was a young boy in Madeira, Portugal, he cried the day his teammates skipped practice. He couldn't understand why people didn't want to work. Even now, decades later, while others celebrate, he trains. After winning trophies, he goes back to the gym. He once said, "Talent without work is nothing." He's not obsessed with being better than others. He's obsessed with being better than yesterday. And that's what consistency does. It rewires your identity. When you show up every day, your mind starts to believe, "This is who I am." Not someone trying to succeed, but someone who does the work no matter what. Later in this video, we'll reveal the 1% rule Ronaldo follows daily. It's simple, but almost no one does it. Open loop number 2 created. Lesson 3. Stephen King, the writer who never stopped. When people asked Stephen King how he wrote over 70 bestsellers, he gave a boring answer. "I write every single day, even on Christmas." He doesn't wait for inspiration. He sits down and writes, no matter what. King once said, "Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work." He writes 10 pages a day, every single day. And that's the magic formula everyone's looking for. 10 pages times 365 days equals mastery. Consistency turns the invisible into inevitable. And you'll soon see the strange psychological reason why our brains resist consistency and how to overcome it forever. Open loop number 3 created. Lesson 4. David Seinfeld, don't break the chain. Jerry Seinfeld wanted to become a great comedian. His secret? He bought a big wall calendar. Every day he wrote at least one new joke. He'd mark that day with a red X. After a few weeks, he had a chain of red X's stretching across the month. And his only rule was, don't break the chain. No matter what happened, good day, bad day, sick day, one joke had to be written. The red X's became a visual proof of progress. And that's what consistency gives you, proof that you're becoming something greater, one day at a time. People underestimate what 100 ordinary days can do. They can change your entire identity. And you'll soon see the strange psychological reason why our brains resist consistency and how to overcome it forever. Open loop number 3, created. Lesson 5. David Goggins. Stay hard. When you listen to David Goggins, you hear no excuses. He calls himself the hardest man alive, not because he's superhuman, but because he made himself that way. He was overweight, depressed, and broke, but he decided every day he would do something uncomfortable. He says, "You will never meet a hater doing better than you." His secret isn't motivation, it's consistency with discomfort. He trains the mind the way others train muscles, because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your willpower. And Goggins says, when you become consistent with the hard things, life becomes easy.
Open loop number 1 payoff, Kobe's hidden rule. Remember earlier when I mentioned Kobe's secret? Here it is. Kobe didn't track results, he tracked reps. He believed the scoreboard lied, but the reps never do. He said, focus on the reps and the results will take care of themselves. That's the mindset that turns pressure into progress. Stop asking, am I there yet? Start asking, did I show up today? Open loop number 2 payoff, Ronaldo's 1% rule. Here's what Ronaldo does differently. Every day, he tries to improve just 1%. One more sprint, one more repetition, one better meal. He once told a young player, if you get 1% better every day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. Consistency compounds. That's the math of mastery. Open loop number 3 payoff, why the brain resists consistency. Now, remember Stephen King's boring secret? I write every day. Here's why most people can't. Your brain loves novelty. It wants excitement. Consistency feels repetitive, so your brain labels it boring. But here's the twist. Boredom is the doorway to greatness. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says the greatest threat to success isn't failure, it's boredom. When you learn to fall in love with repetition, you become unstoppable. The final payoff, why success becomes inevitable. Let's connect all 3 lessons. Kobe mastered the reps, Ronaldo mastered the 1%, Stephen King mastered boredom. Together, they prove one universal truth. Success isn't about speed, it's about staying power. Because every day you show up, the odds tilt in your favor. Every rep, every page, every small act compounds silently until one day the world calls it overnight success. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't overnight. It was inevitable. Practical takeaway. Your consistency blueprint. Here's your blueprint to make success inevitable. 1. Define your reps. What's your one non-negotiable action every day? 2. Track it visually. Use a calendar or app. Don't break the chain. 3. Embrace boredom. When it feels dull, remember, mastery hides there. 4. Improve 1% daily. Small wins greater than big dreams. 5. Celebrate process, not results. Reward yourself for showing up. Do this for 30 days, then 60, then 365, and watch how your entire life transforms quietly, like a seed growing beneath the soil. Closing. Becoming unstoppable. Someday someone will look at you and say, "You're so lucky." And you'll smile, because you'll know luck had nothing to do with it. It was the mornings no one saw, the nights you stayed consistent when no one cared, the tiny acts of discipline that built a destiny. Because when you are consistent, success stops being a possibility and becomes a promise. Stay consistent, stay patient, stay inevitable. I N inevitable.